Welcome to the Thrive series. Today, I am so excited to introduce you to my guest, Christie, who is the higher self parenting coach. And right off the bat, Christie, I just want to hear, what does that mean? I love the sound of it.
I know, right? I love this of it too. Um, but thank you. Thank you for having me here. But really what it means is that I believe that as parents, we know exactly what our children need. And a lot of times we look at forums and we look at books and we look at the new trendiest styles, and that's all great and dandy, but we kind of lose the ability to really feel into being a parent. And I believe our children, choose us for a reason, right? They choose us for a reason. So they believe in us. They believe that they are put in our care for a reason. And it's really about trusting us, ourselves, to deliver and guide them through life, right? It's their journey, and we are here to guide them.
Beautiful. And that leads right into, so this whole series is about thriving. And, we all have a different idea about what that means, but thriving as a parent or a grandparent or a step parent, whatever parenting role people find themselves in. I love that you mentioned that tuning into that inner voice, and that's the higher self part, right? That you talk
Right.
about.
Right.
And I just remember first I was a step parent, and then, had went through the whole birth experience as well. And I don't ever remember experiencing any other time in life where I felt so much potential for comparison, um, self-doubt. Like once I started looking around, if I didn't tune in and only looked around, it was so easy to basically feel like you're not thriving.
Yeah. Right. I mean, that happens a lot. Everyone does that, especially now with social media. Um, Everybody has white furniture. All the parents have white furniture and they're like, look at my amazing home. And they have like 5 kids. And you're like, my gosh, how did that happen? Because God forbid we have anything white
Yeah.
around the kids. So you see that and you're like, well, what's wrong with me? Why can't we keep nice things in the home? And so you have this like a lot of unrealistic expectations from parents, and there's trends now, styles that also amplify this, where it's if your child acts in any kind of way or emotional, that it's an unmet need, and then it encourages the parents to always be there. And it's very unrealistic because we're human and we kind of forget that. We forget that we're human and no one is perfect, not even that lady with the white furniture. So, so we forget it.
Yeah. So how did you come to this? What's been your journey in life that helped lead you to this place now that you want to help other people in their own parenting journey?
Yeah. So I was a teen mom. I didn't have the best childhood. I wasn't seen, I wasn't heard, very authoritarian parents, um, a lot of, trauma. I think a lot of us can relate to the old ways of how things were done. And I was always like a feisty kid. And I was definitely, I would say, kind of ahead of my time. My parents were like, you got to do the dishes, and as a girl you got to do this, and I was very much like female empowerment at like 5. I was like, I have brothers, they could wash the dishes too. And so even at 5, you can see the injustice. Kids could see the injustice of certain things. And so when I had my daughter, and I just didn't, I didn't want to raise her the same way I was raised. The interesting thing is that I didn't read any books at the time. I didn't study anything. This idea of like being more gentle with your kids wasn't something I was aware of, or anybody in my family was aware of. And I just started to feel into parenting and really focus on my child in a way where, you know, I got ridiculed a lot from it. And, you know, that was 15 years ago. And now my daughter is 15 and I have a son who's 9. And guess who comes a knocking on my door now to help them with their kids? It's my family members, friends, my son's friends' moms actually come to me and talk to me. And I started this journey. First of all, I was a confidence coach, and then learning the skills necessary, and yes, all the certifications and all that stuff. But really, it was the experience that I was able to help these people. And like there was a lot of imbalanced family dynamics as well. So, you know, I realized that, you know, if you really start to parent in a way that is really aligned with you and with your child, that there is no wrong. There is no wrong, because you are really parenting from your higher self. And I really truly believe this, and I have helped people realize that, tap into that, and not listen to the noise of everyone else. So,
Right. Well, and what you described, I really love that. It feels like basically about being
yeah,
more present with yourself so that you can be more present with your child, so
yes,
that you can, you know, like magically, not magically, know what to do in that
yeah,
situation. And who can, like, we're so individual, our experiences are so individual, our kids are so individual. How
yes.
could one book just, tell everyone how to do everything?
Right. And so I think in my, you know, in my program, we really dive into the parent. It's very parent centric because, again, only you really know your child. So I don't sit down with your child. I'm not going to tell you exactly what to do with your child, but I teach you forever skills
Mm.
so that they don't go out of style, right? Like all the trending styles, they come and they go, but these forever skills, they're the foundation of having better communication and present awareness. That is also a module in my program, because people always talk about that, like be more presently aware, be more mindful, and you're like, yes, how do I do that? So, you know, and they think it means so many different things that it doesn't. Like you don't have thoughts, but we're not robots, guys, so we definitely have thoughts, and we're going to always have thoughts. It's all about neutrality, and I also talk about that. In order to hear your higher self, you have to be neutral, you know? So I really go into all of that so you can make the best decision for your child without the added projections that we may have, you know? So,
Yeah. And forever skills, like I'm thinking of everything you've just been talking about. That could be helpful since it is like working on the parent.
mhm, mhm,
The, all we can do is for ourselves, right?
yes,
So that those are skills, even though in this program and what you coach on is parent-child interactions, for example, but
right,
everything that's being taught could apply to any
yeah,
situation, any relationship, because they're skills that you're teaching the person, the
exactly,
parent, to embody
exactly.
that will
Yeah,
only enrich all their other relationships.
yeah. And I know this to be true too, because so funny you said that, because yesterday I had two of my clients send me messages about how they used my skills to navigate very rocky relationships that day. And they wanted to tell me about it, that, you know, my tactics or the skills that I taught them really helped them stay present and not, you know, flip out. And they came to and told me that. And I just thought, like, that's amazing, right? Like, because it's not just for children, it really is for everything. I talk about children because, I have these results. This is what I want to help parents understand. But I mean, distress tolerance, emotion regulation, that is for every part of your life.
Absolutely. So the
Yeah.
idea of I talk with my clients about this too. And when you brought up, like, okay, you got messages from two clients in one day, and like this idea of celebrating together, acknowledging a shift. Um, yeah, from your perspective, how does that play into so you do group coaching and or one-on-one, but
Yeah.
getting things embedded when we're learning a new skill or a new way to do something, like getting it really embedded in our system. Yeah.
Mhm.
Tell me how you use that sort of celebrating and acknowledging kind of idea.
Well, when I hear stuff like that, let me see if I answer your question correctly. But when I hear stuff like that and when I see things like that, I mean, it makes you as a coach too to be like, wow, I'm impacting in ways that either I didn't expect, or and it also gives you this what's the word? More of like an expansive feeling, it's almost like this is going to be really weird, but like, the Grinch, where at the end of the whole thing, it's like his heart grew like 3 sizes that day. It does feel very expansive like that, because the thing is, I can't make anyone do the program. I cannot make anyone learn the skills. I teach you, I guide you, and it is really up to the client to do the work. So when I see that and I'm like, oh my God, they did the work. It's amazing to see the potential of people that really want to change. And I have so much respect for them, and they have so much respect for themselves,
Right.
because not everyone will go on this journey. So I don't know if I answered your question, but
Oh yeah,
that is how I
absolutely.
feel when I see that.
Yes. And that I was thinking of it too, like it's part of this feedback loop when we can um share something with someone else or talk about it or mirror something, that it's this sort of like positive feedback loop that, oh yeah, yep, I am making a shift. I can do this differently. Look how this is working. Look how this feels.
Right. Yeah, it's true. It's because then you're on the right path, right? You're like, okay, things are always evolving. So you're always going to find things to refine at some point. Um, but it is a reciprocity thing, right? It's a giving, receiving kind of feeling. And I do think it's very mutual. And so there's a lot of respect that goes in, at least for me and my program. I don't think there's a lot of coaches out there that unfortunately do not have that feeling. So I'm just very like blessed and grateful that, yeah, that I get to experience that.
Yeah. Well, and it's purposeful. Like you're creating it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Yes.
My 5-year-old self would be very proud of me.
Exactly. That's a fun way to think of it.
Mhm. She's like, yes, no dishes, help people instead.
Right.
So yeah.
Yes. So, how about in 2023? What do you what are you looking at for your own thriving and for your business?
Oh, that's such a good question too. Um, well, I definitely want to help more and more people. Right now I'm in beta, so I definitely want to help more people. I want to expand, my business, refine it in a way that's going to help different kinds of personalities. Um, and I also want to travel. I want to travel everywhere. But specifically, I do want to travel to Universal Studios because my son, and they just opened up or about to open up Super Mario World, and he
Oh.
wants to go so bad. And I mean, of course, I want to go to like Bali, but I don't think he cares about Bali right now. But I would love to take him next year to, for a family vacation. So he can, and my daughter too, and we can be at Super Mario World.
Mm. Oh, that sounds like fun.
Right? I know.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm.
So, is there anything you want to mention about your program or what? Of course, we'll have the information below this video to find out more, but is there anything in particular you want people to know about or how, when
Yes.
doors open?
Yeah, so my beta is already in progress. So in January, the beginning of January, I'm going to open the doors. I haven't set a complete date. I would like January 11th because I'm very big on angel numbers, just
Mhm.
like you, right? I love angel numbers. So I want to say that date, but I have to feel into it. And so the program is going to open again. There is a wait list. If you're on the wait list, you get early bird pricing. But it is a lot. It's a lot of fun because I am a very unorthodox kind of person and kind of coach. And I really do care about your results. And I want to hear feedback and I want to work intimately with people so I can give them the best results. And so that this will continue to be part of their everyday life, these skills that eventually they'll, model for their kids. So they pass these skills down to their kids. And so when they have their grandbabies, they know that their grandbabies are going to have an amazing connection with, their parent because that child, your child, is going to pass along those skills too, right? They're going to pass along effective communication. And so you're contributing to the world, right? At
Absolutely.
some point, we're not going to be here. Sounds so morbid, but
But
we're not, right? The future is for our children. And I think there's a lot of not so great people in the world right now. And I want to combat that, with just more compassion, right? More compassion, more fun, more communication. How many things would be solved if people just communicated, right?
so
So
true.
much more communication, less ego. And so that's what I bring to the table. So if that is like something that you were interested in and that resonates, then I'm your girl. And then you can look below and find all the information.
And in the meantime, you do have a Facebook group
Oh
that
yes,
people
thank you.
can join and
Yeah,
tell us the name of it too, because I think this really hits on um, a big part of,
my
your,
personality.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's the Cycle Breaker Circle. That's a little tongue twister. Higher self secrets for spiritual parents. So I am a little woo woo, obviously, because higher self, but I do talk about, the psychology of communicating and emotions and things like that. So I try to combine them. And it's a group. It's a fun group. It's a fun group. I also talk about lunar cycles in there, so it's fun.
Yes, and I can vouch for that. Even though my kids are like now 18 and 20, I love being in Christie's group just for that. It's like reminders of present moment and all the fun. And then the lives that you do in there and the newsletter that you put out is just so thoughtful.
Thank you.
You're so
Thank you so
welcome.
much.
And thank you so much for being here and for showing us, um, shining light on thriving as parents, co-parents, grandparents, step-parents, all of the ways that we can parent and sharing your gifts and your insights and your joy.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yes.
much. I love hanging out with her, guys. She's so amazing. She's so
It's
amazing.
mutual.
I know she's so lovely. I One day I told her we were going to go shopping. We live in completely different, states, but I would love to meet you in person.
Yes,
So
it's going to happen.
it's going to happen.
So we'll take this virtual hug
Yeah, I
into
know.
a real hug.
Yes, yes, yes.
Cheers to thriving, my friend.